In the school hallway, Timmy clutched his stomach, tears welling up in his eyes as he complained to the school nurse about a growing ache. The nurse, Mrs. Wilson, crouched down to take a closer look, expecting a minor tummy issue. But as she examined Timmy's condition, her face turned pale and her heart began to race. She had seen something she couldn't explain, and she needed to act quickly. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Wait here, I'm going to check something, Mrs. Wilson said sweetly as she left the boy in the nurse's room. Timmy nodded, the tears still quietly going down his cheeks as Mrs. Wilson left the room. She had to make a call. This boy's life could be in danger, and the school nurse knew that she couldn't do anything with the tools that she had at the nurse's office to save him. Mrs. Wilson hadn't found him on her own. One of his fellow students, a 5th grader named Emily, had gone up to her office. Mrs. Wilson, something is wrong with Timmy, though Yana didn't understand why he wouldn't just come to her. She immediately went with Emily. Emily? He had been standing in the hall, his back leaning against one of the walls as his hand tightly gripped his stomach. Johanna crouched down to be at eye level with the boy. Concern was in her eyes as she scanned the boy's face. Timmy, we have to go to my office, okay? I need to do a few tests to see what could be wrong, Johanna explained to the kid. The questions were standardized in situations like this. They mostly pertained to what he had eaten, when it had started, and where the pain came from. She had a few speculations but couldn't be sure until she used the stethoscope. As she listened to his abdomen, she paled. She knew exactly what was going on with Timmy. She had to do something. Stay here, I'll be right back, she said, her voice a mixture of calm and urgency. Stepping out, Johanna knew this was no ordinary ailment. Years of nursing had sharpened her instincts, telling her that swift, decisive action was crucial. The gravity of the situation was clear, and she felt a deep responsibility to act quickly for Timmy's welfare. The arrival of the ambulance was a beacon of hope. The paramedics, with their calm and collected demeanor, took over, easing Timmy onto a stretcher with professional care. Mrs. Wilson watched, her heart heavy yet hopeful, as they prepared to transport him. In the hospital, worried whispers and concerned glances were exchanged among the staff. Any word from the parents? Yet one nurse asked Johanna. The staff's growing concern mirrored her own. The continued absence of Timmy's parents was becoming increasingly alarming, casting a foreboding shadow over the urgency and seriousness of his care. The ambulance came to a halt at the emergency room. Medical staff, efficient and focused, quickly attended Timmy. Mrs. Wilson stepped back slightly, allowing them to work, yet her eyes never left Timmy. Where are my mom and dad? He asked, his voice laced with pain and worry. Mrs. Wilson felt a pang in her heart hearing his anxious queries. She offered reassurances, though she herself was uncertain. During a brief moment of calm, Timmy turned to Mrs. Wilson. I'm scared, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Johanna took his hand, offering a comforting squeeze. I know, Timmy, but you're very brave, and we're all here to help you, she reassured him. In that quiet room, her words were a haven of comfort, her presence a reassuring reminder that he was not alone. They waited for news, any news that might explain Timmy's condition. Johanna's reassuring presence was a steady comfort to Timmy as they both faced the uncertainty of the situation, each minute stretching out endlessly. Timmy's parents arrived at the hospital unexpectedly, their faces masks of neutrality. They walked through the bustling corridors, seemingly unaffected by the urgency that had gripped everyone else. Timmy, lying in his hospital bed, turned towards them, his eyes searching for something in their expressions that remained unreadable. The conversation between Timmy and his parents was awkward, the words forced and devoid of the usual familial warmth. Questions about his health were asked and answered, but the exchanges lacked depth, the emotional connection painfully absent. This contrast highlighted the disconnect between Timmy and his parents, making their distant demeanor even more apparent. Johanna's presence was a source of comfort in a room where familial warmth should have prevailed, but was notably lacking. Back at school, the hallways buzzed with whispers and rumors about Timmy. Students huddled in groups, their voices low but laden with concern and curiosity. Teachers fielded questions with reassuring yet vague responses. The news of Timmy's hospitalization spread like wildfire, igniting a myriad of reactions among the school community, all centered around the well-being of one of their own. Moved by Timmy's situation, students and teachers began organizing various support activities. Posters were made, get well cards written, and a plan for a small fundraiser was put in motion. In the quiet of her office, Mrs. Wilson reflected on the school's response to Timmy's situation. She felt a mix of pride in how the community rallied together and a deep sadness for the circumstances that had brought them to this point. The solidarity and concern demonstrated by the students and staff were heartwarming, yet the reason behind it weighed heavily on her heart, a poignant reminder of her connection to each child she cared for. Concerned, Johanna scheduled a meeting with the school administration. In the principal's office, she voiced her observations. The meeting ended with a commitment to explore the situation further. In the following days, Mrs. Wilson took on the role of a detective, collecting information from affected students. As she pieced together the information, a theory began to form in Johanna's mind. She pondered over this hypothesis, aware of its implications. If true, it meant that Timmy's condition could be part of a larger issue, one that affected the very safety of the school community. In the hospital, the results from various lab tests began to trickle in, offering vital clues to Timmy's mysterious illness. A significant breakthrough came when Johanna learned about a potential infection affecting Timmy. This revelation confirmed some of her fears and heightened her concern for the other students. The nature of the infection suggested a link to the school, possibly involving multiple children. Johanna's heart raced as she processed this information, the implications for the school community becoming increasingly apparent. The anticipation in the hospital room was palpable as they awaited the final test results. Johanna stood by Timmy's bed, her mind racing with possibilities. The doctors finally pieced together the puzzle of Timmy's condition. It's appendicitis, they announced, but there's a complication. The news brought a mix of relief and concern. Appendicitis was treatable, but the mention of a complication hinted at something more. Mrs. Wilson stood by, absorbing the news, her mind grappling with the implications. Timmy was swiftly prepared for surgery. As he was wheeled into the operating room, Mrs. Wilson offered words of encouragement, her presence a source of strength for him. The surgery was successful, bringing a profound sense of relief. Throughout the procedure, Johanna remained a constant support, her dedication unwavering. With the surgery behind him, Timmy began his journey to recovery. The road ahead was long, but he was no longer alone. Mrs. Wilson had become a guardian figure, a mentor and a friend to Timmy. The school community, shocked by the outbreak, rallied together in support of the affected students. Fundraisers and support groups were organized. To prevent future incidents, the school implemented new safety and health measures in the cafeteria, to regular inspections. Enhanced food handling protocols and health education sessions became the new norm. The staff received additional training, and students were educated on food safety practices. These changes marked a significant improvement in the school's approach to health and safety, ensuring a safer dining environment for everyone. In the quiet of her office, Mrs. Wilson reflected on the lessons learned from the incident. The experience had been challenging but enlightening, highlighting the importance of vigilance and proactive measures in healthcare. She realized the impact a school nurse could have, not just on individual students, but on the entire school community. The incident had deepened her understanding of her role and its potential to affect change. As the story drew to a close, Mrs. Wilson sat in her office, contemplating the journey she had undertaken. She recognized the importance of her position, not only as a caregiver but as a protector and advocate for her students' well-being. This newfound perspective renewed her commitment to her profession, ready to face future challenges with confidence and compassion.